Their mound is fine, in my opinion. I mean, like.
Joe's
mounds that you had.
pitched me. I was gonna say Joe's pitched on 2 mounds in his life, and
wasn't his favorite. That's not my favorite. I'll be honest with you. That's not my favorite.
mound historian.
Been on a lot of great mounds, and that's not my favorite.
Well, he pitched docent. What are you doing? What's that gonna do? What's that gonna look like? That'll be interesting. You ever seen those paintings? Well, there's like a painting, I can't remember who it is. Is it Van Gogh? Where he's
painting a picture of
himself, but then there's a mirror or something, and there's multiple pictures back. I can't remember if that's it. That's about as
I just wanted to show him our camera, I guess.
Oh, I see.
That wasn't, I was trying to see if I could see.
Were you taking a picture of
No, it was just a video on the, so those are rolling. Okay. And so I was just doing a, trying to see if I could see myself in that camera with that camera. What's up?
Roy is here. He joined us for the commercial, as you probably know, and he's up here for the video taping of episode 59. He wants always to be a part of this, and then right when we get him up here, then he's restless. Mm-hmm. Roy, can you lay down?
Sit down, Roy.
Can you lay down, Roy? You can't even see him, so we're talking.
He could not be up here, although the camera right there was showing him.
That was on him. Here he comes back in.
59th
Come
episode.
Back into view.
Sit down, Roy. Hey, sit down. Sit down. Roy, sit. Sit down.
Let's see. We're going to do some dog training right here, so you can see that. That's going very well. Kind of can see him there. Okay, we'll see how much time we have. He's laying right on the cord and chewing right by the cord. Yeah. So this could be a disaster.
Just be gone after this.
Anyway, we've got Wisconsinites Weekly with Joe. Mm-hmm. We've got Mazo Sightwise with John and the rest of us. Mm-hmm. We also have a trip to highlight. Drew works for West Bend Insurance over in West Bend. He works actually in the Madison branch, and he is a bond underwriter, and so he goes to visit his bond agencies, and he'll be here to talk about that. He had a trip to North Carolina, Virginia, and Tennessee. And Jonathan went down last weekend with him, and so they took some pictures, and they also took some videos. This is going to be a little shorter podcast.
We also could talk a little bit. We got baseball coming up this weekend.
That's right.
So it's just going to be smaller. That's why it's going to be shorter, because it's
Sightwise.
Yeah, because we just are busy. So sorry about that, and hopefully in the next weeks to come we'll have some more interviews. So we'll see you right after this for 59.
Hey, this is Bill DeWeese, pro voiceover talent and voiceover career coach. And this is the original Father-Son Voiceover Podcast.
There's a lot of things we could talk about on our podcast, but we definitely want to get to, we've got Wisconsinites Weekly, we've got Mazo Sightwise, we've got Adventures with Roy from Elroy, we've got news from around town, events happening, people stopping by to talk about those events, but we definitely want to talk about Mazo Mustangs baseball. Want to carve out some time for that on the 59th episode of the original Father-Son Voiceover Podcast. Glad that you've joined us. My name is Todd, and we hope that you enjoy these podcasts. If you want to subscribe, comment, what's the other thing?
You can ring the bell notification so that it tells. Yeah, share this with a friend or enemy.
Yep, you can do that.
However you...
And as I said, this is our 59th episode, and everybody's here. Everybody's back. We're going to talk about Drew's trip, and John tagged along with him down in North Carolina, Tennessee, and Virginia. Mm-hmm. I won't go into that, but I don't really think about North Carolina, Tennessee, and Virginia being somewhere that you travel. They seem far away from each other, but they're really pretty tight.
They're
at
neighbors.
least where you were. Yeah. So Drew's here, back from his trip for West Bend Mutual Insurance.
Yeah.
Bond's underwriter.
Yeah.
John is here, and he's producing the program, episode as we go about it. Hudson is our executive producer. He's been making sure all week long he's been planning and having meetings as we prepare for this. Making
Specifically Monday and Tuesday.
Yes, those are his creative days.
Had a big meeting last night.
Yep. And Joe Bob's over at Information Central, and if we need to look something up on the World Wide Web, then he'll be there for us.
We're all wearing different hats.
That's true.
I decided to wear a hat
which
It looks
really
like
nice.
maybe you got the hat from the ump last night.
Yeah.
That was the base ump. He had a very similar hat.
Well, I did, and it's you probably can't see it, but it has. This is the one I used to work out. I just threw it on this morning because my hair was a mess, and it's got salt because I run.
Yeah.
I'm
Sweat in
seeing
there, yeah.
salt, but not a salt substitute.
Yeah.
Leo, I see salt and pepper. Is there a salt substitute?
I'll get it.
Why did they well, we won't get into the umpires quite yet because that's going to be another
all part of it,
subject.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what are we going to do, husband?
Well, we're going to do what we always do, and then we're going to talk about their trip a little bit. It's going to be a shorter podcast because we had a game last night. We got stuff going on today. They just got back from a trip.
Yeah.
Big trip.
And we're not blaming you for
no,
we're not
exactly.
blaming them for that. We're just
I've
saying
been
that-
to just run ragged.
And then we've got
been
we got a game tomorrow, so we've got stuff that we've got to do. So we're sorry, but this is what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
So
All right.
today we're not a podcast for the people. We're a selfish podcast. So anyway, Joe Bob, lead us off like you do for the Mazo Mustangs.
Oh, good.
And let's hear some Wisconsin Heights Weekly.
All right. So Wednesday tonight, May 24th, 7:30 to 8:30 is the
Tonight.
fall sports
So he said-
information
Comes out.
night.
So he said,
I'll start over.
He said
Wednesday,
Wednesday
May 24th,
Okay.
tonight,
Got it.
7:30 to 8:30 p.m. Fall sports information night
that's
for
amazing.
the
They're
following
organized
for the following year.
I thought that was
Well,
right.
for
Usually,
this coming fall, right?
fall.
Yeah, it'd have to be.
We said the following year. So I
no.
just,
following school year. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, they're that planned out.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Then Thursday, May 25th, elementary art show is happening. Also 5 p.m. At Richland Center, the soccer girls play. And then there's also that day the seniors are walking through the different schools.
That's nice. They don't have to go to Mazo and Black Earth like
Yep.
they used to. Now they can just
Good
walk
point.
what
through.
are they just parade?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the kids
How
come
many
out.
years have they
We-
been doing that? You did that, right? I mean, where do you walk?
No, we didn't. But
Oh,
we
you did?
walked through. We maybe walked through the middle school, but not we didn't go to the elementary schools like they did.
Okay.
We also, I don't remember what we did this for, but I remember we played our instruments through the halls. Maybe that was homecoming weekend. Sorry, different thing.
Totally different. Yep.
Sorry, that was in my mind for some reason.
Friday, May 26th, the 3rd through 5th grade concert is going on. That's also an early release day.
Did you say
And-
3rd through 5th grade?
Is it
Yep.
a singing concert? It's not a.
I think they play the recorders, and
Oh,
I
okay.
think I can't remember what the 5th graders play, but and 4th graders play. But I
That
think
used to be big, remember? Maybe
Yeah.
it still is. They're just not a part of it anymore. But down, like at least the Mazo, we had big concerts. Felt
Big production.
Felt like it.
I thought the gym was basically
It was
full,
packed,
wasn't
yeah.
it?
It was, and
packed.
and
It was insanely
lots of
packed.
people would try to get there early to get the best
That's-
seats.
you're right. You're not
in
wrong
front of
about
the
that.
stage there,
Yeah.
Yep.
And we would just belt it out.
and it was good. Too.
With
It was
Mitch.
very
Did you
good.
sing Mitch loving
Did you
it?
sing,
Loving it, yeah.
Did you sing high like you do?
I think I'd bring it in every once in a while. I had 3 different vocal ranges,
Wow.
and I brought them all.
See, but you probably, because you didn't want to call attention to yourself,
Right.
you probably sang like a boy during
just
those
normal
times.
like a boy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also that night is prom.
Wow, it's late. It seems like.
Yep. Then Saturday, May 27th, there's graduation setup for the graduation ceremony. And the Mazo Mustangs take on the Sauk Prairie Twins at Sauk Prairie, 6 p.m.
When's that?
Thursday night.
Thursday Night League.
Oh, Thursday Night League.
Oh, no, that's Sunday.
You
That's
said
Sunday.
6 p.m.
Yep, on Saturday.
Oh,
How many night games do we have this year?
Yeah.
Then
under the lights.
Sunday, May 28th, Mazo is at home against Reedsburg, 1 p.m.
The Pirates who don't do anything.
Yeah.
And then there's also graduation, 1 to 3 p.m. The doors open at 12
Oh, Central.
for that. Yep.
What day is that?
That is the 28th, Sunday.
Boy, that's an early graduation. It seems like.
Yeah.
We were in June, like June 8th or something like that.
We graduated the same weekend that the kids got out of school, that everybody else got out of school.
He's been hanging on to that
So
for
you
a while.
got out the seniors got out a week earlier than everybody else did.
Prior
But
years.
then
No, we got out the
Prior
same
years to hit.
with who we had as the principal. We got out at the same time as everybody else did.
Yeah.
In fact, we were there longer because we had to graduate.
grad
weekend.
Did you say graduation, guys?
Hey, do you have
You closed the
question?
shop.
Question for you, Joe. Do you have
Didn't
more?
get a snow day either.
Is that it?
That year.
We
Is
know.
that it? Is that it?
Yep.
Okay.
So the baseball's done now? Baseball and softball are done?
There was nothing on the schedule
Well,
that
the
said that.
playoffs are coming up. Will be that week,
Oh,
I
okay.
believe, because they had seating. I talked to senior Derek Adler
Okay.
from the Fighting Vanguards, and
You had a quick interview with him.
I did. We were down there for practice, and they were having
Just the
practice
two of you?
before us. No, Mazo Mustangs. When I
Oh,
say
okay.
we, I mean the Mustangs.
Okay, well, you said Derek and you, so I wasn't sure.
Well, but okay. Anyway, Derek was down there. The high school was practicing before us. I said that too. We were talking, and I was asking when the playoffs were because somebody had said that they thought that the playoffs were the other night when they were.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Big shout out to his younger brother, Reed, hit for the cycle.
Oh,
Really?
Sophomore, Reed Adler.
Wowzers.
Yeah.
And I want to talk. I want to link something together during Mazo Sightwise.
Okay.
After Jonathan does his thing, typically what happens is I have a few things.
Yeah, typically.
Typically, you
Right.
can't wait to get.
Hudson, do you know what
so
they
now
call
you're
that?
prepping. You're even way
It's a
before.
tease.
Usually, you're waiting, trying to desperately get, and now you're getting out ahead of it.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep, I'm teasing that. I'm teasing the
Next
fact
time
that I'm
when
going
we
to have
come on,
we'll talk about.
And then before that, then after that, you're
You'll
going to
be
have
in
a
the
commercial.
Yep, about my portion
Right.
of
Exactly.
Mazo Sightwise.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you know
Joe's got something to say first.
Do you know what they would call it if Reed hit 2 cycles in the same game? Bicycle.
Bicycle.
Joe, let's get off of that as quickly as
Yes,
possible.
please.
Joe, here, quick question
Yep.
for you. And not to put you on the spot, but we're having a little bit of like we do from time to time, have a little bit of a production meeting right now.
Only on Tuesdays.
Creative production meeting. What's your plan for this summer?
Swim team.
Okay.
That's
When
your plan.
there's no Wisconsinites weekly, and there's not as many events. Go ahead.
Swim team.
Barracudas.
Yep. Kudas. And then Stangs.
Well, that's okay. That's Mazo Sightwise.
But there are guys that went to Heights that play
Okay.
for Mazo Mania.
But here's something that Joe and I have talked about that I think he's forgotten.
I just misremembered.
We're going to take our cameras out and have a tour of the new
Oh,
elementary school
yeah.
with
Oh, yeah.
Principal Scott Moore.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And maybe there'll be a few other things that, maybe that'll be multiple things that we talk about so that our viewers can stay in touch with Wisconsin Heights.
Great. All right, now on to Mazo Mania.
You mean Sightwise?
Yeah.
Oh, let me say,
So these are a few things that are just a couple things actually that are just.
These are a few things that are a couple things.
Yeah, well, I
Okay.
saw that there's only 2 that are a little. We're gonna let you know in advance. It's we're probably gonna keep you up to date and remind you of these things. But as some of you may have done in the past, there's downtown at the how you say it again? The apothecary. There's like an open lot to the east of it that they call it the Mazo Music and Street Market. It happens every 3rd Thursday of the month from June until October.
And they got a little open space there, right?
Yep. And it's it's held at the Apothecary, and it's for pop-up vendors. There are new pop-up vendors, local artisans, and food trucks. The food trucks won't be the same each
Rotate.
month.
Okay.
And the first one is June 15th.
All right.
And there's going to be live music. And the person that will be down there is Sam Ness. I don't know when
I think he's from Sauk.
Okay. I don't know when he starts singing, but
I think he went to
I would
Sauk High
assume,
School.
I don't remember I should have looked at the time frame, but I'll let you know next week because you've got a little under a month until that happens. But that's just coming up, and
It's a big event. You really have to.
Seems to be getting bigger on
give it good
Thursdays.
runway.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And then another big event in Mazo that happens every year is the Mazo Garage Sale.
Oh.
Community-wide garage sale. It's in 2 weeks from when this comes out. So the Thursday, I don't think it's the 15th, but it's the 2 weeks from this next Thursday, which is this Thursday. From this Thursday, 2 weeks from this Thursday when this podcast comes out.
It's the week before the 15th, so
Okay.
it would
Yep.
be the 8th.
Something like that. Yep.
Okay.
That sounds right.
That follows.
And that's Thursday. And goes till Saturday, I believe.
Yep.
And you can sign up, go to be on the official map.
Oh, wow.
And it's exploremazo.com.
Their brand new website.
Yep.
Remember Scott talked about that, Johanna.
I do
We
remember
just did
that.
some spring cleaning. Cleaning, I almost said. We did some spring cleaning. Did you come up with any items that probably could go on a garage sale?
Probably not.
Tough.
Because when you have
That was
little-
always the funny thing when we would have a garage sale here at our house.
Was
I would
nothing
think
funny of it, yeah.
who would want anything that we're not.
if we're having stuff that we put out for a garage sale, you don't want that stuff.
What would be even worse is then when we take things to like Goodwill or St. Vinny's or something. It's like they probably would take that box and they would put it right in the dumpster.
We've used it to the max.
Yeah.
Well, they wouldn't.
They just didn't do it to our face.
They wouldn't. They wouldn't accept it during the day, but they did accept it.
take it.
They would, but they did take it that night. Yeah.
Goodwill, right? And I showed up at Goodwill with this old TV, and the Goodwill guy was like, nah. He said, we don't take TVs like that anymore. But they did take it later that night when they were closed. I'm not getting rejected from Goodwill, is what I'm telling you.
So that's all I've got. I think there'll be more to come on the calendars here as the summer comes.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be busy.
We've got Mazo Mustangs games coming up.
It is. So, there's quite a few Little League or Babe Ruth. I don't know all the different, but senior Babe Ruth
Youth
down
baseball.
there. Youth baseball that's down at the park. And it's always, with
Which
soccer,
park-
they're
which
so
park is
busy.
that?
Mazo Lions Park.
Yeah.
So busy right now down there. And it's such a contrast from what it is after, from basically late, middle of September or maybe October till now. And it's quite a contrast in how busy it is.
Remember couple of years ago during the pandemic when everything was shut down?
Yeah.
I remember being down there in the summer. No pool, no soccer games, no baseball, little league, no girls softball, nothing. And no hometown.
It's a ghost town down there.
I know, it was just weird. It's very weird now. It's fun to see the place. It's a buzzing.
Yep.
There's no doubt about it. I just have a few things. I know you're in charge of
Dad's got
Mazo
some-
Many
no, I've got
Sidewise,
some
but I have,
amendments.
I needed
I
some
have
help
a
this
lot of
week.
them.
Yeah.
He's got some amendments.
Let me just
In fairness to you, you were not completely on
You're
board with
hamstrung.
Mazomani Sightwise because you were in Virginia and
Yeah.
North Carolina.
We'll get to that here shortly.
Yeah, true. So I mean, it's just saying that you were reporting on, you can only be one place at one time.
Yep.
So you mentioned Reed Adler, who hit for the cycle for Wisconsin Heights, and I wanted to tie that into Mazomani Sightwise, and that is, I got word on the street is, they've been trying to sell rookies. Steve Schmidt,
Okay.
Yep.
who's the owner and proprietor of so many things, the Mallards, and Shoebox and such, rookies as well. But, and this, we won't flash the disclaimer, but this is just word on the street, so don't quote me on this, but I heard through a reputable source that they're just going to be shutting it down and looking to sell it. But they're going to be shutting it down until they find a buyer.
Running
To make sure
operations.
you trusted first and then verified after that.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Don't quote me on this. Although we are a podcast that seems to come up with some fairly big news things. By the way, Mazo Sightwise, we talked about Jet and Jerry Springstead. You know, they were guests here.
Yep.
They announced that Karsten and his wife, their youngest, who live out west, were having a child. They did have that child, and I just saw them last week.
They were walking past.
They were walking around.
Yes, they were.
Visiting the fine area of Mazo and Black Earth.
Taking it all in again.
So anyway, back to this. Rookies is closing down, and just the connecting point is Derek Adler is not Derek. Well, Derek is too, but
He is as well.
Reed
Reed.
Adler is Steve Schmidt's grandson.
He sure is.
And Steve Schmidt used to be the home run king of home talent for quite a few years. He either won the home run or he was up there a lot of times. Anyway,
It's got another one that.
now,
Go ahead.
got something else? Okay. Don't forget, and this is something that we always need to remind you of, the 1855 Coffee House is our sponsor of the original Father Son Voiceover podcast. You can get 10% off any food or beverage item if you just say, I watched the original Father Son Voiceover podcast. Now on to a couple of more. Don't forget the B-Style Floral is just in their first month of operation, so go and visit them. They're right down across from the 1855 Coffee House
you're at
in historic
1855,
downtown Mazomanie.
Walk to the light pole, stop there, and then walk.
It's a
across
flagpole.
Flagpole. That's right.
Thank you, flagpole. Don't walk to the light pole.
Could get confused.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know,
There's
maybe
several light
maybe
poles.
somebody else should have said that because I
several
was
light poles
real
down there.
confident in what I was saying, and I said the wrong thing.
There's also a new Mazomanie building that's open for rent. There's not that many down there in downtown historic Mazomanie. And if you're coming from the east, going toward the east on Hudson Street, and you're seeing the flagpole, not the light pole, but the flagpole to the right, and you stop at the stop sign, it is the second one in on Hudson Street to the left. On Hudson Street to the left.
Pink building.
I don't know, but there's the dog grooming. And then the next one was kind of a massage acupuncture thing. And that's going to be open for rent. I don't know who's coming in there, but there's been a lot of ideas for people that they've been throwing out there. So we'll get you up to date on that coming up later. Lastly, now next week, when we have our podcast, Jim Schrader's going to be visiting us to talk about the Mazomanie Music Conservancy. We'll also ask him about the band that's in their 25th year. Their
Staff infection.
Well, that's...
Oh, you mean
their
the Mazomanie
Iron Horse Band.
Iron Horse Band, yeah.
Yep, that's in their 25th year, and he wants to highlight that, so we'll make sure that we talk a little bit about their events for the summer.
Is that a silver anniversary?
25.
Bronze.
Silver.
Silver. Okay.
Yeah, silver anniversary.
Because
I think it is.
50th is gold.
Gold,
And
yeah.
then 100 is titanium.
I don't know, but
Diamond, platinum. Yeah.
and then Scott Johannick, I think, or somebody from, they're still working out details about Chamber Chatter from Mazomanie Chamber of Commerce. And I contacted Judy Curtis, friend of our podcast. She's a part of the Lions Club and a part of the Historical Society. And I just got this in. This is breaking news. I asked her if they would have somebody coming to talk with us
Here
at on our set.
Yep.
And she said, I suggested at our last meeting, May 15th, of the Historical Society, that we connect with you. It was decided that Frank Wolf, the historian down there at the Historical Society, that's a big deal. If you're the historian of the Historical Society, that's way
you're
up
the
there.
CEO
of history.
Might be willing to do it, but he was absent. I emailed him, but I think he's on vacation. One of us will get back with you. Here it is. The museum will be open on Sunday, May 28th, from 1 to 4.
This coming Sunday.
Yep, this coming Sunday, Memorial Day weekend.
Yep.
It'll be open Sunday, May 28th. It is a very nice museum. You need to stop in. If you haven't done it, if you're in a local area resident, you need to stop in and see it sometime. And it's open every Sunday through Labor Day.
Wow.
1 to 4. Now, here's the question. I don't want to go off on this too far, but I want you to, they're looking for a docent. What is a docent?
No clue.
Someone who takes care of the stuff in there, like a curator.
That would be a curator. But
they can't have another name.
A docent.
A docent is somebody that walks people through and explains things.
Is that what you were going to say?
No, I was going to say it is somebody who takes care of the museum property.
That's a custodian.
A custodian.
Well, the thing is they might call
so Joe got it right.
They might call it something.
Joe got it right.
They might call it something different.
Isn't that just
in
a
historical
guide?
society? Yeah. A person who acts as a guide, typically on a voluntary basis in a museum, art gallery, or zoo. So docent, you were right, Joe.
Docent.
And they're looking for docents that will walk people through and show them, what's there, and probably have some
docent.
Probably have some knowledge. You can't just be a person that takes them through and you don't know anything about Mazo. You got to kind of know about the area and stuff.
Here's some stuff about Mazo. Some more stuff.
I would imagine that they probably don't want you just like peering in and just reading the plaque.
We could do that.
Yeah.
Well, they used to have. Well,
let's see what this exhibit is all about.
This is the John Apple.
I think if I was doing it, I'd have one of those quarterback things.
Oh yeah.
And I just would. This
play.
Well, when Mom and I went down there a few years ago, it's probably been 5 or 6 years ago, and the last time we went down, the Shackleton brothers were there. John, is it Art? I can't remember. But a lot of folks are getting older, and those are the kind of the resident historians.
Yeah.
And so they're probably looking for new people who know quite a bit about the history, or at least will take the time to think, to do some studying up on it, so that they can be a little bit authoritative when they take people through. And I think that would be fun to do that. Yeah, I think it would be fun to take.
You should be a docent.
Yeah. So
How much
that's
does that dog
Mazomani Sightwise for me. Yeah,
I wouldn't think it pays anything.
Does it pay anything?
No, it's volunteer.
No, it's volunteer.
It's in the very definition. It's a volunteer basis. You got it right.
The definition that you
got
got right.
You got that right.
I don't think you knew that it was a.
No.
There's probably
like
you would think at like the Louvre over in Paris, and you would think about like the places in Chicago and New York,
DC.
They pay their docents. I would imagine.
Why they wouldn't be docents then?
I don't know. Maybe.
Because
I think it said usually on a. Typically on a
let's get that right.
Volunteer basis. Let's make sure.
Are we gonna talk a little
Typically
bit about
on a volunteer
about
basis.
the game? Is that what we're planning on doing, or
I
are we
was
just doing
hoping to,
Mazomani
but I don't
Sightwise
know.
as part of that?
No,
I don't know how much further we're going to go here.
That's it for me. And I was going to go, now we need to talk just a little bit about Stangs baseball, because that's a big part of Mazomani, especially our viewers. They like baseball.
I'll set it up. We had our first nightly game, which is Thursday nights, on last night, which was Friday night.
And what is Thursday? Explain what Thursday nights are to people. Like what's for?
It's for us to play baseball. It's
Right.
for guys who maybe don't normally get to play on Sundays. They get to play on Thursdays, or if you don't have enough guys, it's a night to work on some things.
There's kind of almost two leagues, even though it's the same league.
They're the same
right?
teams.
One's a developmental league and one's a.
Yep. The one on Sundays is kind of where is the more coveted one. So last night was a Thursday night game, and we were up around in Cazenovia, wherever it is, down to the left, right, wherever it is.
It's up
Northwest.
I was right. In Cazenovia, and we had our first game against the Cazenovia Reds.
Sure did.
Yeah, Joe, who is not a pitcher, pitched for us.
One of them wasn't a pitcher,
but now he is a pitcher because he went 3 strong innings. What'd you give up? 1 hit?
I think so.
Yeah.
1 hit. Hit one guy. Hit the first batter of the game.
First pitch of the game.
Thought, oh boy. But he settled down.
Let them know that that's your
down.
plate right off the bat. Let them know.
Remember me, kid? That's what Joe said the next time he came up.
This is what I thought about this morning. I thought, why didn't I take some pictures of Joe pitching? Why didn't I take some videos? Honestly, Joe, I was scared the whole time you were pitching. And when you started out hitting the first batter, I thought, I'm just hanging on for dear life with you here. So I didn't think about taking pictures, or because I was just more.
If you wouldn't have pitched well, people would have said, "Hey, Todd, is that your son?" No, that's somebody else's son. I don't know who.
It's one of the Black Earth
Mannix
bars.
up there.
It's one of the Black Earth bars.
Joe Maddox, yeah. Joe Maddox.
No, but Joe
carved them up.
Joe pitched real well.
Yeah.
Our offense showed up last night. 15 runs.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Graduation.
Peyton Flammy had a 3-run bomb. I went to look for the ball, couldn't find it because it was in the water. I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
See ya. He said
They have a
Lee Lake.
creek. Oh, is it lake? Yeah.
Lee Lake.
Yeah.
Lee Lake. Yeah. And then
What was it? It was.
Jagger.
How did you say it was? Was it a 3-run shot?
3-run bomb. Yeah.
3-run
That's what
shot.
he said, yeah.
Wow, I couldn't remember. I just remember seeing it go over, and I just was.
It flew by the.
did you know
By
that he's got
the
3 home
scoreboard.
runs in home talent, and 2 of them are at
2 of them in there,
Casino?
yes, yeah. That was a bomb last night too,
was a
big
night,
time, because
yeah.
it was it over the
Hey.
scoreboard?
Yep.
I think it was.
Don't try to hit home runs tonight because the ball is not going to fly.
Yeah,
That's
true.
what somebody said.
Right.
Anyway,
I think
well,
you're just saying
yeah,
take
he
a
was-
nice, easy
and-
approach at it.
and
I
Peyton
tell
did
you
have
what,
a-
I took a really easy approach at it.
You did.
I just thought
You
I'd
didn't even
see a
swing.
lot. I'd see some strikes, see them go past, and then at the end, I thought, let's fight. Let's try to fight here.
You wanted to get yourself into a bunch of 2-strike counts to see what you
That's
can do.
really what I was working
Yeah.
on last night.
Joe, you did find out though that pitching occupies a lot of your mind, though, doesn't it? And to be a good hitter while you're pitching, or even while you're catching, that's to be a catcher that hits 250 or 300. That's a pretty good feat because that takes something out of your legs physically and stuff. But it's a mental game too. Pitching definitely is.
Yeah.
What were you thinking there? I'd like to get into your mind. What were you? You threw? Did you throw any change ups or anything, or did you just?
Well, I'm
throw
sure I
mainly
did. 'Cause
Fastball.
I'm sure I did in the sense of what people thought were my fastball was actually my changeup. But no, I just was basically just trying to throw strikes. So I was throwing fastballs the whole time, and then some slower fastballs.
You know what? Some advice that people have given me in the past has really helped to throw strikes is when they say, "Hey, come on, just throw strikes." That has always helped me.
Yep.
How about just play catch? That's a good
Yeah.
one too.
Yeah.
It's just
It's
you
just
and
you and the
the
catcher.
catcher out there. Except
And
it's not.
8 other guys or 7 other guys behind me and another guy hitting
bad.
the ball.
Guy
and
trying to hit the ball.
Their mound is fine,
Yeah.
in my opinion. I mean, like
Joe's
the mounds that you had?
pitched me. I was going to say Joe's pitched on 2 mounds in his life. And
Wasn't his favorite. That's not my favorite. I'll be honest with you. That's not my favorite.
mound historian
Been on a
was
lot
like,
of great mounds, and that's not my favorite.
Well, he pitched 3 innings, and he walked by me, and I said, "You just pitched far more than you've ever pitched in your life. You're 30 years old."
3 times as much as I pitched in a regular game. But it's pretty sandy.
Yeah.
And
It's
the first
one here.
the first warm up pitch that I got, we were away obviously, so we pitched.
we were the top. We were the
away team.
Defensively,
the bottom of the inning because
Yeah.
we were away.
So the home team pitched first. So the guy had dug out a pretty good
And
spot.
he was probably 6'2", wasn't he?
Yeah, and
he's
so
a pretty big boy.
I went to throw and plant my plant leg, and it went right into this hole, and then it was all sand too. So I just
Hey, mound management, man.
Yeah.
That's what you got to learn. Mound
That's
management.
what I told you right away. I told you boys, you got to go out there and
Manage
manage
that
the mound
mound.
first, so
Yeah.
you know where you're stepping when you put your plant leg down there.
Yeah, put your plant leg down.
Yep. So
Hey,
anyway,
but I will give you this, Joe. You surprised me. I don't know how the next outing will go, but you won
That'll be a
yourself another
surprise, too.
opportunity. You won yourself another opportunity, big time, and you
Survive in advance.
Thursday Ace.
You started out scary, but you settled down, and that's hard to do on the mound, especially if you haven't been there very much.
Broke a bat last night.
You broke somebody's bat, and you also, now I don't know, I might be talking out of school here, but wasn't long time Mazo Stang and Black Earth bomber Teddy Severson, didn't, at least toward the end of his career, didn't he kind of grunt when he threw?
Yep.
You did that too, Joe. You were grunting when you
but
would
it
throw.
didn't do anything. It didn't
Well,
make
it
it
made
go
people
any
think
harder.
you were throwing harder than
Yeah.
you really
Sometimes
were.
people do that to throw people off. It's like, here comes a fastball. Yeah.
You got definitely a lot of Chet Steadman in me.
Yeah.
So you went 3 for 3, didn't you?
I did.
3 for 3, yeah. You hit the ball hard.
Peyton went
as
3 for
usual.
3 as well.
Yep. We needed all the hits from you guys.
Who else did we have that hit
Jeff
pretty
had
well?
a hit. Deshaun had a hit.
I had no hits, but I had 2
Elliot had a
RBIs.
hit. Elliot Tannenbaum 30.
Let's be honest.
Elliot 6.
Jeff just manned up again. He's 58 years old. He was 0-2 or 1-2, and
Slapped
he just manned it through the hole between first and second for a base hit.
Mm-hmm. Tim had a hit.
Yeah.
Timmy,
You hit.
Seeing eyes.
Lathan hit the ball hard once.
Yep.
Did he?
Yeah.
Or
Put a charge
once.
into one.
Yeah.
Big leg kick.
Jager did well last night.
Catching
Yeah,
and
catching.
pitching.
I thought he did
Third
better.
base
I thought he
too.
did good at
Pitched
catching.
one no-hit inning.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jager Shinneman.
Jake was out in right field.
Jake Hansen.
Deshaun was in center.
Sean Barsons.
Elliot was in left. Joe
Elliot
was in left.
Tannen.
Yep.
Yeah.
I had 2 RBIs, but no hits.
Now Elliot does Elliot know about our podcast?
He sure does.
I don't know if he watches it, but I met his parents. They're very nice people.
Mark and Julie.
Tannen. They were at the game. They drove all the way from Middleton, and I introduced myself and I said, "That's a long haul from Middleton out here." We wouldn't have missed it. They said,
Wow.
"We wouldn't have missed it."
Mustangs Nation.
Yep.
Welcome.
And
to
they'll
the
be
club.
there. They'll be there. This will be last Sunday when this comes out. But when you guys play Ashton, they're going to already said they're going to be there.
Opening day.
Yep.
We got some what do you call those? Super fans. There we go.
Larry and Bob.
Yeah, Larry and Bob. All right. Well, we talked about that. We did win. By the way.
And hey, just another quick production note. Let's make sure that Demond isn't really involved in that's our audiovisual person. Let's get him down with those new cameras that we have and have him get some video
vids,
which will be last Sunday, but of our Mustangs.
Sounds good. All right. Now we have the exciting adventures with Roy from Elroy, and I wasn't very excited about that. So here it comes.
Roy! Roy, Roy, 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 Roy!
And now, another edition of The Adventures of Roy from Elroy.
Speaking of Roy,
he's big.
Yes, he is, and we have some pictures of him and videos and stuff like that, as always. But I took a picture of him when he was sleeping on the hardwood floor. He contorts himself all around. It's the most, probably the least comfortable position he likes to lay in. What looks like the least comfortable position.
You guys are working with him, and like Mom and I walked by your house the other day, and he nobody was out with him, and he stayed right there. He didn't come out.
He's very well behaved.
He is well behaved. We're working on him like with kids. Not that he's mean to them. He just really
likes people.
He doesn't know how. He's just like kids. You take them to new situations, and they have to learn to obey in these different. You can have them obey in their regular surroundings because that's what they're that's what they're used to. But each time they go to someplace else, they have to learn to obey that next level of excitement and stuff. And so you guys have talked about having some kids around a little bit more so that he gets used, because he's going to be a big dog, and that's no fun. When you think about, it would be like being at the parade. Remember when those big horses, those Clydesdales they'd bring through? It'd be like having one of those when you're a kid. That,
right up by your face.
Yeah. They kind of can scare you.
He's still not very good at walking.
No.
On a leash. He's not very, he can walk great.
Yeah, he pulls ahead, and then you back him back, and then he'll see something behind him and want to pull back that way.
He's easily distracted.
Takes him about half a walk for him to figure it out.
Yes, right. About a mile in, he starts to kind of get a little bit more of a groove. So we're working on that too. Yeah. He's 6 months old, so we still got some training to do.
Expectations for him. I don't know if we have anything else, but we do not have an interview this week. because of scheduling.
Next week we'll at least have Scott and Jim representing their community organizations.
We will be doing a taste test here soon.
Oh.
We haven't been doing that for a while, and we've got one in the works.
Nice.
So that's that. Next up, we are going to talk about the boys' trip. It'll probably be fairly short, but we'll do it. So join us right back here in just a moment.
We'll get back to more of the original Father-Son voiceover podcast in just a moment, but we want to also take this moment to thank our reverse sponsors, Windflower Apiaries. They are our reverse sponsor for today, Windflower Apiaries. Windflower Apiaries is owned and operated by some of our guests.
Jet and Jerry Springstead.
You bet. You could call him Jet. His name is John, but his nickname is Jet.
Yeah.
And they own it. And I messaged Jerry just before the podcast started, and I wanted to know, do you still have honey for the winter? Because I know bees kind of, well, they don't hibernate, but I don't know if they give as much honey during the late fall and winter times. And they still do, she said. We harvested honey this fall, and they have it there on sale on Windflower Ridge right here in Mazomanie. It's local honey. It's not pasteurized. This Christmas season, Windflower Apiaries have small honey bears with scarves around them, perfect for hostess gifts or stocking stuffers. There's a self-serve stand atop Windflower Ridge right here in Mazomanie, and you just need to let them know if you want quantities that are 2 quarts or gallon quantities, because some people like to, buy a lot of honey. And so just find their information out there on the internet. Just type in Windflower Apiaries, and you'll get information about John and Jet and
Jerry and Jet.
John and Jet. Well, John and Jet. No, that's just one person.
It is.
Yeah. Jerry and John.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. There you go.
So Windflower Apiary is our proud sponsor, our reverse sponsor of the original Father-Son voiceover podcast. Now back to more of the podcast.
All right, well, welcome back to the 59th episode. You weren't gone for very long, so I don't know why I'm saying, welcome back so much. But we're going to talk about their trip too. Tell us where you guys were at, because you were at a bunch of places.
North Carolina, Tennessee, and Virginia.
Fun fact, what do people down there call North Carolina?
Well, I don't know how many people call it that, but it's just some of them call it North Kakalaki.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
I wish we had a name like that.
It's got a nice ring to it. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, it does. But we flew into Charlotte because Madison has a direct flight. American Airlines actually does. It's not Madison. Madison doesn't have any airplanes. But American Airlines flies directly to Charlotte, which is a huge hub, especially compared to Madison. Madison's just got 12 gates, something like that.
Yep.
So you fly into this Charlotte Douglas International Airport, is huge, and you get there, and then we drove out to the mountains right away because we were heading out. We had to get John's rental in Asheville, North Carolina, which is in the mountains, and it's just beautiful out there. It's
Are those the Smoky Mountains?
Well, yeah. So on the North Carolina side, they call them the Blue Ridge, and they're the Appalachian chain.
Okay,
that's what they are.
Really?
And on the North Carolina side, they call them the Blue Ridge Mountains. I think the Virginia side as well. And then on the Tennessee side, they call them the Smoky Mountains.
Can I just stop you for a
Please
second?
do.
You're almost acting like a docent for this travel log.
Well,
so thank you for that.
Well, and even more so, they've never asked me to. So I'm doing it on
this is
voluntary
tourism for North Carolina.
Like a reverse
sponsorship of North Carolina, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Wow.
But also just one other thing, Flatlanders like from Illinois and stuff, they'll come up to our area and just look around and say, look at these beautiful bluffs, because they're so used to everything being flat.
Right.
And then our bluffers go to a place like this. Yeah. And those are mountains, aren't they?
Because obviously you're in the mountains there. It's not like we're looking from a flat place into the mountains. We're in the mountains. And so those are higher
the elevation
peaks.
there, do you know?
I think that they, like, what is it, Mount Mitchell, I think, I think they might be like 5,000 or 6,000 feet, something like that, highest peaks. So, I mean, not huge for mountains, but they're, I mean, huge for around here. I think we're like 300 or something like that.
Yeah, we're not
we're not very high.
So again, just because I wasn't hearing that completely. So this is part of the Appalachian chain that goes all the way up into
New York
almost Canada, doesn't it?
Right. Yep.
Okay, but so there's different parts of it, and this is like the Blue Ridge Mountains, and then the Smoky Mountains.
People call it different things.
Okay, but it's
they have
all
different
part of
chains of the mountain, of the whole Appalachian. Just like the Rockies, I think they have certain different. They're the Rocky Mountains, but I think they have different like little pieces.
I see. All right.
So that the people call them different
and
things.
So this is.
You're looking at the Blue Ridge there. Yeah.
And you can see why they're kind of blue, aren't they?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, at certain spots you can see why they would call that Blue Ridge, and then you get up into like where we were at Banner Elk and stuff, where we stayed. That Banner Elk, North Carolina, is probably 10 miles away from the Tennessee border. In the morning, the clouds come. It's like they're smoking. It's that's why I think they probably call them the Smoky Mountains.
Okay.
Now, is this from a?
That's Phil's barbecue pit that we were at there.
Really good. Oh, so this is
that's where we were. That's where we were eating that day. We were eating at Phil's barbecue
deck
pit
with picnic tables that you could sit at.
This is the first day you're there.
This is Black Mountain.
Okay.
Which is about 15 miles away from Asheville to the east.
And there's another barbecue place right across, or is that the sign?
That sign is for Phil's.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're at what was the temperature like there?
It was like maybe 70 something, 72 or something.
Oh, so very nice.
Yeah,
very pleasant.
there was just a pleasant breeze that was coming through and hitting us.
Pleasurable.
Because they're up there, do they have up high, like so you go to Blue Mountain State Park, sometimes you don't get mosquitoes up there. Do they have mosquitoes there?
I didn't feel a single mosquito.
Okay, I think it's too high for them.
I think so. They have a hard time flying up there. But yeah, we went over to Ingalls, which is a really nice grocery store.
On par with... Or not?
Oh yeah, Publix.
Yeah,
on par with Publix.
I'd say so. The biggest reason is because they have the sandwich. They have you can make the own sandwich. Boar's Head subs.
Nice.
Okay.
Sandwich
like
submarines. Huh?
Just like Publix.
Just like Publix.
Nice.
Yep.
They don't have Buc-ee's in this area.
They don't. No.
Okay.
Not
They
yet.
have one in South Carolina, but obviously that's further away. But I'm talking about in that general area.
Yeah. Anyway, so this was the first day. This was Saturday when we were there. We
flew in.
Drove up there and then so that's that. This was, I think, this maybe a morning picture I think that I took up in Banner Elk.
So you were sad when you took
How's the pictures looking there, Hudson?
I think they look all right.
If they don't, maybe Damon can flash those. We don't have to be on camera so much. That's
when you took these?
So there's some trees and the mountains in the background, but those are the clouds that are kind of at
I think that's
tree
why.
level.
I think that'd be why they probably call them the Smoky Mountains.
Looks like
because
smoke's
it looks
coming
like
from
in certain areas they just keep kind of I don't know what's going on there. But
is there condensation from the trees that it's not like fog. They're actually it's thicker than fog.
I don't know.
I
that's why I'm not sure of. I really don't know. But anyway, they have certain lookout spots all over the place. John and I drove for a short bit. We drove on the Blue Ridge Parkway. Mm-hmm. It goes all up and around the mountains there. So that was kind of cool.
Yep.
Next.
Oh, wow.
There's I sent the picture back. That's Ashton's Mound.
Yeah,
I said to the guys.
Another home talent team.
Yeah, they got a huge mound. But
there's no way it's regulation.
Right.
There's no way.
Right. This was in Banner Elk as well. I was out walking at night, and this was one of the peaks that was real close. They've got some in certain areas when you're driving. It's a little bit tough when because you're driving. You're trying to look around, but you're trying to be a little bit careful and because it's windy. The roads are really windy, but there are homes and stuff up. Sometimes you'll be driving and you'll look and there's just a home that's sitting. I can't imagine what that view is like.
Reminds me of a bluff, like when we go down to Iowa, next to the Mississippi, you'll have those rock faces, and it doesn't look necessarily like that, but those almost. I don't know how high that was, so I can't say that they look the same, but doesn't look too much different than.
Well, that's what I was saying to Dad is that you get up there and they kind of just look like bluffs. I mean, some of these peaks,
already so
but you're
high
in,
up,
you're 3 to 4,000 feet in already elevation, and so these are even higher up. So that's why they're.
Did you guys have to acclimatize so you didn't get
acclimate?
Yeah.
Acclimatize?
No.
I don't know.
Look it up.
Didn't sound like a word when you said it, but
acclimatize.
Acclimatize. Go ahead. I'll do it.
Dad's gonna look it up.
Acclimatize.
Oh, I know you gotta acclimate, but
yeah, right.
Sounds better.
Yeah, I don't think I felt any. I didn't feel any difference.
I mean, we threw, so I felt like you threw harder.
Wow.
Yeah. There were a couple times I cut through. Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah. We didn't have to get
how much
the
would
oxygen
I could
masks.
throw a football over the mountains.
Yeah. We didn't have to get any oxygen masks or anything like that walking around. So that's another next.
There's acclimatization. Is the process in which an individual organism adjusts to a change in its environment.
In its environment.
Acclimatized is a word.
Oh.
It just means to acclimate. They acclimatized themselves before ascending Everest.
But did you, when you said it, did you know that it was a word? Or did you make up the word?
Acclimatized.
Well,
but there's a difference between knowing it and then saying it.
One of the things I've learned as Hudson, as he's gotten older, his nickname is Meathead. But he's actually pretty smart in a lot of ways.
When it comes to what?
Hey,
I've never been voted the smartest. Joe has been, but
yeah. Okay.
So this is going to be. This is. I think if you didn't get any of the pictures that I sent this morning, then on here, then this will be fine. That's fine.
Sorry.
Well, we can add those at the end. What we did was before this picture we did go. This would have been Sunday, right?
This was Sunday. Yeah.
Sunday. So we did go for a drive. Was it Tennessee and went down Hampton, Tennessee? And it was kind of a lookout. Way up, really windy. Really, the roads didn't seem like they were big enough for two people or for two vehicles.
Right.
But we just kept on going up and up and up, and then we came down, and I took some pictures of that so Damon can.
Would you like me to read this?
But this is then after that when we're on our way up then to Virginia. Well, this is Bristol, so it's on Tennessee and Virginia.
Okay, the sign says Bristol Sessions, July 25th through August 5th of 1927. In 1927, Ralph Peer, a record producer with the Victor Talking Machine Company, set up a temporary music studio on this site. Over the next 12 days, he recorded 76 songs by 19 artists, including the Stonemans, and the first recordings of Jimmy Rogers and the Carter Family. We've been watching that.
Ken Burns' history of country music,
These recordings launched the country music industry. In 1998, the United States Congress recognized Bristol as the birthplace of country music. Dedicated by the people of Bristol.
And that was right there in that spot.
And that there is on, I believe, the Tennessee side. Correct. That's why you're seeing the Tennessee flag over there. Okay. And you're seeing the emblem there of the Tennessee flag. That's on the Tennessee side. So just across the street there.
And Joe, you got the video.
Virginia, I do. Yeah. So next, please. So that's the sign there. That's kind of cool. You don't have to do volume. So this is I said, there's JB. Thumbs up. He's on the Tennessee side right now.
You guys were in different states.
No, we were not.
Oh, you should have done that. That would have been cool.
And that's the Virginia
side. It was so
side
busy
there.
that you kind of felt like
yeah.
Again, I'm not great at geography, but I don't think of Tennessee and Virginia being right next door. Why do I not think that? I don't know. I don't have a good reason.
Well, they don't share a huge. I mean, because
border. They don't share.
Because Kentucky and I think maybe West Virginia even a little bit. I don't know. Anyway, but they don't.
Okay.
But yeah, then they've got.
Thanks for protecting.
We got some other placards around the area. Some of the folks that.
Is that right in the same vicinity? Now this is still Bristol.
Yeah,
Tennessee,
this is Virginia though. This is Bristol,
this is Virginia.
Virginia. Yep. And
So when we were watching the Ken Burns thing, when they went to Bristol, they were also right next door to Virginia, right? I mean, so there's kind of country music going on in not just Tennessee, but also Virginia. Is that what you're understanding too? Because that's a museum in
right
Virginia
yeah.
for country music.
I mean, I would assume
Right?
that's right.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Because they just share a street, basically.
Yep. Next.
Okay.
So this is the Country Music Hall of Fame.
That's
Got
a big
old,
guitar.
I was gonna have John take a picture, a video of me kind of strumming it by it, but I didn't know. I figured
not
that
like
probably
that.
wasn't.
How big
a
was
good
that dog?
idea.
Was that about 8 feet tall, maybe 7, 8 feet tall, or
I
bigger?
think it was taller than that.
It's that big.
The guitar body, I don't know what they call
Base.
that. That was probably 5-6 feet high. That's probably
this part right here.
Yeah.
How high
and
is
then
the
the
ru- how
neck
long
goes
is
up.
the rudder?
Goes
There.
up a lot higher there.
It's really tough playing it on a rudder.
Poorly executed,
Anyway.
poorly conceived.
Mm-hmm.
Stunk.
That is without a doubt the worst guitar playing I have ever heard. Poorly executed, poorly conceived. It stunk.
Well, it's difficult playing it on a rudder.
So then this is.
And
Go ahead.
I ended up having some pictures and things like that of the actual country music because we did go in.
Yeah, we went in some videos, so we'll have to share those later on.
So I'm could show those now.
It was one of those things where it was kind of cool to go in. But if anybody's watching this and they're on the fence about going to it, I would say it's probably one of those tourist traps, big time. I would say.
It is, okay.
Yeah, I was expecting it to be more like old. I figured they just keep all the old flooring, and I just thought they would want to preserve that and have maybe the setups of the old like microphones, and I just figured
They had them behind glass, kind of, but it was still more of a new.
But it was a brand. It was. I probably was in the last 3 or 5 years that thing was redone.
Okay.
So I was just expecting to have it look old fashioned. And I kind of would have thought that would have
That's
been
what you
cool.
were hoping for.
Yeah.
Didn't live up to expectations.
And that's fine to say that it was a disappointment.
Yeah.
That's your opinion. Maybe other people would say, no, I
offense.
liked it.
That's
but,
the truth.
But what you're saying is you had expectations and they were not met.
Right. Yeah. It was a very nice building. Very nice building, but not what I expected. These are just some pictures of us going down there.
What tell us about this?
So
this is your video from
when I
Roanoke, right?
So that's downtown. We were just a little bit to our hotel was a little bit. It was right downtown, but it was down this way of that big building there.
And
but this is
look at the clouds there.
Yeah.
The mountains are below.
That's very
them.
that's nice.
It was
I like
raining, so
that.
this is a view from a park called Mill Mountain Park. There's, I don't think I took a picture of. I may have took a picture of it, but behind me there's a star that is lit up. Maybe just Damon can show a picture of that on the bluff there. So this is from the south looking to the north towards downtown Roanoke, and I went up there just to kill some time because I didn't know the area very well, so I just looked up a park.
Yeah,
and but it was raining, and which was kind of too bad because there's quite a bit of walking paths, and it was also kind of chilly, and I did not pack clothing as if it was going to be cold.
Yeah.
So I just stood out there at this lookout place. There was another one that you could look out at as well, but there's also a kids discovery area that's associated with this park, and I think there was a small zoo. So this was kind of neat to
that is pretty
see.
neat.
But that was my trip while Drew was busy working.
Yeah, was I ever?
Yeah. On to the next one.
And that's it.
That's it.
Perfect.
But that was kind of it
How
anyway.
long were you gone?
I was gone till this was Monday night.
How many days were you there?
I was gone until from Saturday to Tuesday.
And then
evening.
Drew was gone from Saturday to Friday evening.
And Drew has to travel because he's an underwriter for West Bend Mutual Insurance, and these are his areas, his regions, right? Virginia, Tennessee isn't.
That's correct.
Virginia, North Carolina, and Ohio
In South
Carolina.
Yeah.
And you try to travel there several times a year. John tagged along because he likes to travel. Mom and I are planning on going on a trip with you this fall, hopefully.
Yeah.
And just getting a chance to see the sights. And so you were there the whole week, and you just got home this last Friday.
Correct.
This is coming out Wednesday, this last Friday.
Yep.
So just real quickly, how did you think the trip went? You think it was a successful trip?
Yeah, most of the time you can get a feel while you're in and out of these agencies, insurance agents. You can sometimes get a little bit of a feel for how they go, but you never can really tell until you get back to the office and they follow through and start sending you some stuff. So I think it went fine. I think it went well. But I guess, we'll see. I got some good feedback over the week. So.
John says you're getting to be a better traveler. Traveling is a whole other world, isn't it? It's you learn how to travel, you learn how to pack, you learn how to get along. You still get worked here and there just because you're at the mercy of so many things, the weather when you travel and stuff. But we've talked about this on multiple occasions. There might be people that I've met people that really enjoy traveling. But I think always about those people that have to travel all the time, whether for their work, like professional athletes, or it's not glamorous, is it? It's not. No. You think it is, eating out and traveling and flying and seeing places, but you're busy when you're there, and it's not a sightseeing tour.
It's not. No. Yeah. I that's why sometimes it's kind of nice if somebody comes with you to just build in a little extra time to go out and do this kind of stuff because you're in these areas that we don't really go that often and just like, oh, well, we're just going to go to the, Blue Ridge or the Smoky Mountains. We're just going to go have a week there, whatever. But, we don't do that. Or, so, well, we're just going to go to the North Carolina. We're going to go to Myrtle Beach. Well, that's South Carolina, but we're going to go to Ocean Isle. We're just going to do that. So it's kind of fun to build it into your work trip. Go
ahead, sorry. What I like is, and I'll be done after this. Just this one statement is I kind of was kiddingly saying you're a docent, but you're spending more time down there and you're starting to get to know the area, and whether it's North Kakalaki or all these different things, it's just kind of fun you're starting to know more about the area, which is fun because we just we don't go there very
people
often.
in North Carolina and Virginia in certain areas, instead of some people say how are you doing around this area, they say you doing okay.
Oh,
that's what they say. They say you doing okay. That's just I'm doing well. Yeah, that's
people from Australia ask you how you're going.
How you going?
Yeah, mate.
Yeah.
Jeff did that one because he was there for a while. I think he lived there for a little bit.
Huh. Okay.
While Luke was going to school, I think.
And then based on the inflection, if they say, "Well, bless your heart," that sometimes it's kind of patting you, it's patronizing. It's patting you on the head. Like I said that I said I'm from Wisconsin. I'm from Madison. This was the first time I traveled there. The lady said, "Well, bless your heart." Like, well, somebody's got to live there.
Yeah. We're living a lot nicer spot.
Here, but bless your heart that you're living there. Yeah. So it's depending on the inflection, I guess. So.
Well, thanks for sharing that. Don't forget to get your 10% off at our sponsor, the 1855 Coffee House in historic downtown Mazo. And thanks.
Thanks to you guys.
To Roy for being here for his adventures. We always appreciate him. Thanks for going to North Carolina and such. John, thank you.
Thank you for watching.
Thanks for Wisconsinites Weekly. Thank you for Mazo Sightwise. And Hudson, thank you for all you do putting the podcast together. Seriously. And Demond, you too.
Yeah.
And of course, thank you for watching.
There you have it. Come out and check out some Mazo Mustangs games because you'll see us there and some other Mazo celebs. So this has been 59. See you next week for the 60th episode.